Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the cage, Thomas GALLACCHIO. Moving on to our main event of the evening at Triumph FC Inception. Dean Panis cage side, joined by the dynamic duo of Cody Cron and Jake Hirsch. Cody, Jake, it's been 3 long years. Finally, these two men, Thomas GALLACCHIO and Andrew McINNS, are going to settle the score, and it's going to be for the Triumph FC Lightweight Championship.
Couldn't ask for a more exciting fight. I had a chance to catch up with GALLACCHIO before the fight. Such a very positive guy, good-natured, very happy, excited to be here, and really can't wait to get in there and see what happens between him and, of course, Mr. McINNS after all the trash talk that's been going on. Very interesting.
The one big thing about this fight we can't mention is Thomas GALLACCHIO actually missed weight yesterday. He weighed in at 155.5 pounds, which is fine for a normal lightweight fight. But Cody, he missed the championship weight by half a pound, which means tonight, if GALLACCHIO wins, he will not be crowned the lightweight champion. However, if McINNS wins, he will be the lightweight champion for Triumph.
Yeah, you know, that was a thing. That was one thing that Andrew McINNS was really upset with. And you can see at the weigh-ins yesterday, the two had they certainly had no problem exchanging words with each other. And, Andrew McINNS very upset that he thought maybe he was going to lose the chance for this to be a 5-round title fight.
GALLACCHIO looking very excited to be in there.
And his opponent, Andrew McINNS.
Good luck.
Andrew McINNS, 6-1, had a bit of a layoff, of course, coming off the controversial fight with Cody McKenzie a year back, and has not been overly active. But interesting to see what comes out tonight. But obviously he stays in constant shape. He's one of the head trainers at Complete Fitness, MMA, and amazing jiu-jitsu black belt.
Yeah, he's expanded his game past that since. He's really tried to work on his stand-up game, and being an aggressive grappler, he needs to be able to close the distance using his strikes, and he's really been able to utilize that training with the guys at Complete. This is a guy as well, he has to really psych himself up to fight. He really likes to get himself all mental. He likes to think that this guy is trying to take away his money, his livelihood, to get in there and really bring it to him.
Yeah, you talked about fighters having a hard time finding fights. McINNS in particular, who really wants to fight tough competition. He doesn't want to take any step backwards in competition. Every fight he takes, he always wants the next one to be tougher than the fight before.
You got to give him a ton of credit for that. Cody, you've had a chance to train with Andrew over the years and be able to do some jiu-jitsu and stuff with him. And of course, his reputation precedes him as a world-class jiu-jitsu instructor. How do you see tonight playing out?
Well, I've rolled maybe with half a dozen black belts before, and Andrew McINNS is by far one of the best ones that I've rolled with. Not necessarily just because of his technical level, which is still high, but the fact that he's also very aggressive. He uses a lot of his strikes to set up his position changes as well.
The fighter announcements now in cage. Dean Panis.
Ladies and gentlemen, Triumph Fighting Championships in association with Arctic Spas and Heritage Harley-Davidson is proud to present your main event of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the Edmonton Combative Sports Commission under the direction of Chairman Vang Ioannidis. This bout is scheduled for 5-minute rounds. It is the Triumph Fighting Championship Lightweight Championship. The man in charge when the bell rings is your referee, Mr. John Brack. And now, for the fans watching at home and the fight fans in attendance at the Shaw Conference Center in downtown Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, there's only one thing left to ask. Are you ready? Introducing first, to my left, in the blue corner, he comes in at 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing at 155.5 pounds. He comes in with a professional MMA record of 19 victories and 8 losses. From Temecula, California, he is Thomas "The Tank" GALLACCHIO. And introducing his opponent across the cage in the red corner, He comes in at 6 feet 1 inch tall, winning at 155.7 pounds. He comes in with a professional MMA record of 6 victories and 1 loss, representing complete fitness and mixed martial arts. From Edmonton, Alberta, he is the submission artist, formerly known as Andrew McINNS.
Andrew McINNS, obviously a fan favorite, hometown at Edmonton, and Thomas GALLACCHIO, very, very game opponent, fighting out of obviously Dan Henderson's gym in Temecula. Very, very tough fight. John Brack explains to the fighters what's going on.
Real contrast in the stare down there. Andrew McINNS looking very aggressive, whereas Tom getting a little bit more composed and relaxed. I think Andrew was planning on coming out very fast and very aggressive in this fight.
Be interesting to see how this starts off.
Finally, 3 years of waiting, a lot of trash talk, finally paying off here.
Yeah, the score is finally going to be settled here tonight in Edmonton. Triumph FC main event. Andrew McINNS, Thomas GALLACCHIO. GALLACCHIO takes McINNS down. I don't think McINNS is very upset about that.
Andrew able to pass up, already locking in a triangle. Wow. He doesn't have the foot locked yet.
GALLACCHIO split open as well, guys. There's a lot of blood falling onto the chest of Andrew McINNS.
Yeah, it looks like GALLACCHIO actually still has his left hand still in there protecting him as well. So Andrew's not able to lock up that triangle yet, but this is a very, very dangerous position with Andrew McINNS. He's very, very comfortable fighting off of his back and also very, very flexible in his hips and legs.
Yeah, and you talk about the height advantage and the reach advantage that when a fighter's standing up, but when they're on the ground, those long limbs also come into play.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, Andrew's really been able to mimic a style of a BJ Penn, the way that he's able to use that guard and be very aggressive with his legs.
Definitely very flexible, Andrew McINNS, as they're both tied up, and from what we've seen, it looks like a cut coming from GALLACCHIO. Not quite sure yet, and if it's going to play any type of part in the fight starting off so early. It's never a good thing to get cut so early, of course, not to get cut at all, but to get cut so early in the fight.
Yeah, and GALLACCHIO content to just ride this out and see if he can wait for a stand-up again. And Andrew McINNS instead opting to try to throw some shots, stay busy off here.
Of course, as we mentioned before, GALLACCHIO coming from Temecula, California, the Team Quest gym ran by Dan Henderson. Of course, he's got some amazing sparring partners down there, people like Sam Alvey, who we've seen before fight. And it comes obviously with the reputation preceding itself. Team Quest being a very gritty, very hardcore wrestling gym as well.
You can hear referee John Brack telling these fighters to work. Andrew dropped that leg lower down to the hip of GALLACCHIO. Looks like he's attacking that shoulder now, possibly.
GALLACCHIO looking very calm and composed, and looks like that cut might be on the hairline of GALLACCHIO.
Yeah, it's a big long gash just on the hairline coming down on a 45-degree angle. Looks like blood leaking down.
Oh, and Andrew Robbie put his leg underneath and trying to go for a gogoplata. GALLACCHIO recognizing that and driving his forehead and putting Andrew McINNS back into the cage and stacking him.
Look at McINNS putting his hand like he's going to sleep.
Andrew McINNS.
Don't see that very often.
Just doing what you're thinking about.
That just shows you how comfortable Andrew McINNS is in this position.
Definitely, it's been there time and time again. Swain, of course, continuing to put pressure, and Brack has seen enough and is standing up to fighters.
Yeah, Brack saying that there was a little bit of work there that wasn't.
Actually, now that we see the fighters that stand up, there's a cut of the left eye of McINNS. It might have been McINNS that was leaking. Actually, both these fighters are leaking. As you can see, the blood coming down the hairline of GALLACCHIO as well as the eye of McINNS, which to me means it might have been an accidental headbutt on that first exchange.
I was going to say that. We're going to have to look at the replay again on that. But again, if both guys are bleeding like that, and Andrew McINNS right on his eyebrow line along his orbital there against the forehead, it's very likely that could have been a clash of heads when they were clinching.
GALLACCHIO making his time useful as he's putting pressure on McINNS, dropping some
Big
shots.
right hand by GALLACCHIO, drops McINNS, couple knees to the body, but McINNS ties up.
GALLACCHIO with a very sharp right hand that put McINNS down, but got to give credit to McINNS there for getting right back up and reversing the exchange here now with GALLACCHIO up against the cage.
Yeah, and that right hand actually landed right on the cut of McINNS as well. You can see the blood leaking down, dripping down the face of GALLACCHIO, and it's actually going right between his eyes, whereas McINNS' cut is more to the outside of his left eye. It's going down his cheek.
Nice jabs from Andrew McInnes there.
Having that early success with that right hand, Cody, you would think that Gallicchio's going to want to keep this standing.
Yeah, I think ultimately his game plan is he probably feels like he's a superior striker, but he also seems comfortable too that maybe he wants to prove a point and beat Andrew McInnes at his own game.
Not to miss that spot there, but McInnes coming in with a straight right hand, landing flush on Gallicchio's left cheek. It's not looking like they're being phased by anything. Gallicchio rushing in with a quick combination.
What's surprising me here is with Gallicchio, when he's landing those shots, he's actually coming in and tying up. What I'm thinking if I'm Gallicchio, I probably want to land those shots and back up, create space so I can continue to punch.
Yeah, it seems like he's using those punches mostly at close distance. He is damaging him with them, but ultimately it looks like his game plan is to tie him up against the fence.
Already the 10-second warning, rounding off round number 1 of the main event. Gallicchio and McInnes, both fighters coming out with cuts. Looks like the cut men's got some work to do during the break. Of course, we've got Triumph Fighting Championships, some of the best cut men in the business working out here tonight, taking care of those cuts.
Yeah, we know both fighters are coming in with cuts after the first round. That's going to be very important. You touched on the cut man. You got Keijiro Noda in the corner of Andrew McInnes, and Keijiro is one of the best around when it comes to fights. Not sure who's working on the head of Thomas Gallicchio in the blue corner just above us, but both of these guys are cut. But I want to emphasize again, the big difference is Andrew McInnes is parallel with his eye on the outside of his left eye, which means the blood's going to drain down when he's on his feet. Gallicchio's fight is pretty much right above those eyes, and it's going to drain down into his eyes, Cody.
Yeah, exactly. That may defend if the referee sees enough blood coming in between those eyes, if that cut keeps getting bigger. That is going to play a factor into this fight now that both of these guys are cut.
And cuts on the hairline, they bleed a lot compared to other cuts.
I don't have a hairline, I couldn't tell you.
Start off round number 2, Gallicchio McInnes. Gallicchio definitely putting lots of pressure on McInnes and wanting to get out of here early tonight, it looks like.
Yeah, Gallicchio really content with coming forward with those heavy 1-2s. Andrew McInnes, on the other hand, looks like he has a little bit more reach, and I think he's wanting to keep him on the outside with his jab.
Combination by Andrew McInnes.
McInnes finding some real success with those hands when he decides to throw them, and Gallicchio answering back, but very impressive hands with McInnes tonight.
Yeah, these guys are really throwing some heavy shots at each other. I'm really impressed that Andrew McInnes is throwing some heavy shots, mostly while backpedaling. He's also doing a really good job. Once he gets close to the fence, he's now circling out. Obviously, made good adjustments made in this corner in between rounds there.
The interesting thing here with McInnes is he's throwing those jabs, but he's got to bring them back. The jab's got to be a two-way punch. It's got to go out, but it's got to come back and get in a good defensive position. You can't throw it out and loop it down to your body.
Yeah, I'm always telling my students, if you're not throwing a punch, your hand is protecting your face.
Both fighters swinging for the fences as they stay in the pocket, center cage.
Nice push kick to the body thrown by McInnes, lands on that Gallicchio. McInnes getting a little bit of swagger in his stand-up here, Cody. We haven't seen that before.
Yeah, he got rocked early, but he's still very comfortable on his feet. Both these guys bleeding again, and he's actually landing some heavy shots. I always like it when it's two black belt guys that decide to come out swinging a little bit, because there's going to be a little bit less defense and a little bit more offense.
Blood still coming down from Gallicchio's forehead. Tough cut to try to keep quiet, but McInnes' cut looks like it's holding up pretty well.
Once again, I want to talk about that cut leaking down on Gallicchio's forehead. You can see that blood's coming straight down between the eyes. Gallicchio constantly brushing it away with his left hand. That becomes a big red bullseye for Andrew McInnes.
I'm finding that McInnes, as long as he's seeing the success there with his hands, he's getting more and more confident as the round goes by.
And, like I said, he's doing a really good job of circling now, using his angles, and again, he has that longer reach. He might as well be the guy popping his jab in that guy's face. There.
McInnes able to rock Gallicchio. Gallicchio's head snaps back with that left hand. Now the right hand of McInnes lands on Gallicchio.
Yeah, Anderson needs to keep his hands up a little bit more. Gallicchio, on the other hand, doing a good job keeping his hands nice and tight.
Oh, it looks like McInnes might have rolled his left ankle there a little bit.
both these guys seem that they're content fighting on the outside, not bothering, just clench.
Nice body shot by Gallicchio, keeping McINNS on the wheels. But McINNS fires back. Both fighters going toe-to-toe now.
Gallicchio now on the offensive. Gallicchio opens up on McINNS. McINNS looking to tie up. Once again, you can hear the corner, Gallicchio telling him to pull away. McINNS this time doing a good job in tying up. And I'm going to stress again, I'm surprised at Gallicchio after he throws those punches. He moves in on McINNS.
McINNS firing back with a right hand of his own, keeping Gallicchio, and another right hand. Left hand now. Now looks like he's having his way with Gallicchio on the stand-up.
Yeah, Andrew McINNS, like I said, doing a really good job fighting on the outside, using those straight punches. Starting to find a home for that double jab right cross.
Had a chance to talk with Andrew's manager earlier this evening, and as said before, with some of Andrew's camp, he felt very confident coming in, very, as Cody mentioned before, always looking to motivate and almost instigate in order for him to put on a really dynamic performance. He likes to get heated up, he likes to talk trash, and unless it gets emotional.
Yeah, I think it really does bring out the best in him, you know. Some guys that like to be nice and calm. Some guys, the same thing, they got to be all charged up. You know, look at Vanderlei Silva, you know, he's always very rabid and always, you know, that's the thing, he lets his opponent know that it's going to be a fight that he's into, and I think that's the same thing with Andrew McINNS. He wants that guy to know that he's fighting for his life in there.
Definitely makes a big difference. Gallicchio keeping the pressure, cutting off some of the corners. Another right hand. Looks like it stunned McINNS for a second, but right back on his feet with a mean uppercut.
Round 2 is going to come to an end. A very entertaining round. Who would have thought we'd see a stand-up war between these two gentlemen?
Yeah, it's definitely some good shots landed there, you know.
Oh, it looks like Mitch Clark made a bit of he wiped out there as soon as he came in with the bucket and got ourselves a bit of a lake, getting mopped up there inside the cage.
You know, good round back and forth. I think Gallicchio had more power on his shots, and it looked like he was doing a good job of coming forward, landing those big shots, and then pressing Andrew McINNS against the cage. But then Andrew started to circle out again, and then once he started finding a hole for that jab, you could tell that Andrew was very, very comfortable throwing that jab over and over again.
One thing I noticed with McINNS, we've got a very big cage here tonight in Triumph, and a couple times McINNS circling away, almost stumbled over the bottom bar here in the cage, and he's going to have to be aware of where he is, because if he stumbles and actually falls down, it could definitely hurt him in this fight.
Yeah, exactly.
John Brack has ordered the seconds out, and we're off to the next round with McINNS and Gallicchio. Round number 3 set to go underway here at Triumph Fighting Championship. Dynamite main event, and they're still clearing a bit of the glacier that Mr. Clark created there.
Well, a lot of times a veteran cornerman will accidentally drop the bucket and to buy his fighter some more time between rounds. But Mitch Clark did just stumble. We saw him coming in. I don't think he's that good of an actor to make it look as good as it did.
I don't think Andrew really needed the rest anyways. Both these guys were looking pretty fresh.
Definitely. Both of them coming out swinging. Round number 3, just as much action as the first 2.
Gallicchio getting a little bit more reckless.
Just a stand-up war. This is an absolute spectacular performance by both fighters. And Andrew going to his bread and butter into the jiu-jitsu.
Pulling guard too. Gallicchio did a good job coming forward and really putting the pressure on those punches. Although he did end up chasing around, he wasn't cutting any angles there as well.
The one thing that might actually help Gallicchio here is that cut. Not only will the blood start to come out and make it a little bit more slippery, but the cornerman put some Vaseline right across that hairline, and that'll make it a little bit easier for Gallicchio to pull his head out should that come into play here. But it looks like Andrew's got him tied up pretty good here, Cody.
Yeah, he's using a really tight kind of mission control style, almost a rubber guard, you could say. And again, I think he's content just constantly forcing Gallicchio to work here, throwing those little pin-pat punches. No one's just going to let you get away with that. So again, it's forcing him to have to work. I'd like to see Andrew implement some short elbows.
Come on, guys, let's work.
Referee John Brack stepping in to remind each fighter to continue working.
Kind of an interesting call there. Andrew McInnes still trying to go for the rubber guard there, and then he's standing it up.
Not only does McInnes have that cut beside his left eye, that left eye is actually starting to swell up pretty good. One of those right hands early in round number 3 thrown by GALLACCHIO must have hit the spot.
Yeah, he's throwing pretty wild there, and it looks like he did get a couple of those shots through.
Nice exchange by both fighters.
The thing is, too, how much of GALLACCHIO's energy did he expend in that round coming forward, pressing with those heavy punches?
Loving this stand-up war in the main event.
Love it. Now these guys are blocking. Both dudes are just throwing bombs at each other. Both guys jockeying to get that tie plumb.
Looks like GALLACCHIO is trying to work that counter punch. As soon as he's reading that shot coming from McInnes, he's throwing a left of his own to try to counter that.
Yeah, both guys taking a little bit more time here. I think that they realize that they got to pace themselves. They're just trying to land some shots on each other. Andrew doing a good job moving his head side to side, pumping that jab out.
Yeah, and as this fight wears on, you got to watch those hands like I talked about earlier. They got to be two-way punches. They got to come back to a defensive position. It's easier to throw it out. It's tougher to bring it back, isn't it, Cody?
Yeah, exactly. GALLACCHIO really starting to telegraph and wind up those shots. Problem is that he keeps trying to go square against an opponent that's cutting angles on him. So he's ended up having to miss half the time that he's throwing those big shots.
And as we know, that expends a lot of energy when they're throwing punches that are not landing.
Good job by GALLACCHIO taking it back.
Push off, don't
Looks
grab.
like he's almost got him in a, I thought he was gonna go for a twister there.
Andrew doing a really good job getting back to his feet, only to be taken down again.
I think with GALLACCHIO's wrestling pedigree and McInnes' black belt in jiu-jitsu, it makes for a very interesting ground game.
Yeah, you know, you can see there, Andrew McInnes using that flexibility in those long legs. He's actually comfortable just staying on his back there, not even bothering to get back up. He's locked on that body triangle, which again is going to make it a little bit harder for GALLACCHIO to breathe, but it's not, doesn't make it possible for a whole lot of offense.
Watch for these kicks of Andrew McInnes. We actually saw him when he fought against Healy. He's able to use those legs and come down with some chopping kicks on the back of his opponent.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Almost had him in like a omoplata type position, and then he was able to start landing some heel strikes. Pretty dynamic way of throwing it. And again, the referee, I'm kind of surprised, warning a stand-up, even though Andrew McInnes is working here.
Not making anything happen.
And
Let's go.
another stand-up.
Fight.
You can see that left eye of McInnes starting to swell up. And it's under his eye, so the bigger it gets, the more it's going to close that eye. Very important 10 seconds here in the end of round 3. Very tight round between these two fighters. As round 3 comes to an end, and we're going to go into our championship rounds here. The lightweight championship is on the line. That is if Andrew McInnes can pull out the win. Once again, Thomas GALLACCHIO did miss weight, so if he wins tonight, he will not be crowned the Triumph FC lightweight champion.
Such an unfortunate thing to come in overweight, but clearly he's trying to make up for it tonight. His performance, both fighters being very gutsy and such an amazing exchange inside the cage. Both guys giving it all they got. Some of these exchanges are absolutely spectacular, Cody.
Keep an eye open.
Yeah, you know, again, both guys not necessarily being very technical, not offering a lot of defense to one another, but you see Andrew cutting a lot of those angles and GALLACCHIO coming forward with those heavy shots. Andrew doing a really good job every once in a while stopping, cutting the angles, and then firing that jab back into his face.
Keeping an eye on it.
We see both cutmen working their magic inside the cage, trying to put a quick stop to some of that bleeding and hold off for the championship rounds.
Yeah, both these fighters doing a good job making the contender actually has something to do tonight for once.
Very interesting fight so far, Jake and Cody. Round 1, I might have thought Andrew McInnes got the points there. Round 2, again, I believe with the shots that McInnes was able to land, even though it was a fight, it was pretty much the whole 5 minutes on the feet. I give the nod to McInnes one more time. Round 3, I thought was Thomas GALLACCHIO's.
Yeah, I think that last one there, especially when he implemented some takedowns there, was able to nullify his attacks. he probably was able to take that round.
Another
Ooh,
beautiful
big
right
thundering
hand.
right. And again, GALLACCHIO coming out really heavy, trying to look for those big power shots.
McINNS is,
And
sorry.
Andrew trying to cut those angles on him again, doing a good job circling back to the middle.
Andrews almost got that right hand cocked up and loaded, ready to fire. Almost waving it antagonizingly in front of GALLACCHIO.
Good job blocking by Andrew McINNS there. Slipping the punch and also using his hand to parry it.
Of course, the cut continues to bleed for GALLACCHIO. Such a difficult place to stop a cut on the forehead. That hairline is very thin skin right on top of bone. Not a whole lot of area to work with up there, but making the best of it.
Yeah, both these guys doing a good job of punching each other in the face. Again, this is what you have when you have two fighters that prefer offense over their defense, is that you're going to get a high volume of these dudes landing big shots at one another. Makes for a really exciting fight, though. Nice slip from Andrew McINNS.
Great head movement by both fighters. I think McINNS coming out on top of that exchange.
McINNS doing a better job in this round of staying on the outside. GALLACCHIO in the last couple of rounds was able to dive in and counter McINNS. McINNS now doing a better job of staying outside the range of GALLACCHIO.
Yeah, you know, I'd really like to see one of these guys throw an uppercut, because right now it's a lot of looping and straight punches. They're throwing a lot of 1-2s at each other, but again, first guy to land and throw an uppercut, I think is going to land it.
GALLACCHIO trying to cut off some of the angles here on the cage, and both fighters are back at center.
Yeah, Andrew's doing a good job of not getting his back stuck against the fence there. Noticing he's doing a really good job as soon as he gets close to that fence. He's always doing a good job of doing his lateral movement to get away and circle out. Oh, nice right hand.
Right hand landed by McINNS right after that blow. GALLACCHIO's able to tie McINNS up. Now McINNS pulls guard.
McINNS has done a really good job tonight of retreating back a bit and almost baiting GALLACCHIO in to try to get an exchange and coming out on top, especially with that right hand. He's landing all night with that right hand, and it's looking really good for McINNS.
Yeah, you can tell here that he was trying to get that bolt cutter on his head so that he can pass his guard and probably go for an omoplata. Maybe again even go for the gogoplata. And see, here he goes again, pulling that rubber guard, trying to get his foot underneath the chin of GALLACCHIO so that he chokes him out with his shin bone as he pulls back on the back of his head.
GALLACCHIO clearly being in somewhat of a position like that, I'm sure numerous times as he's found a way to slip out of it and keep defending that.
I think that looked closer than it actually was. You know, again, when you're fighting a black belt, they're not going to exactly let you get something like a gogoplata on them. A lot of props to Andrew McINNS for going for it, though.
Come on, guys, let's work.
Warning from John Brack that he's not entertained enough to keep this fight on the ground, even though both these fighters are working.
Both fighters
Slip up from GALLACCHIO.
scrambling for position with McINNS.
If McINNS can get the back of GALLACCHIO here, GALLACCHIO's going to be in trouble. McINNS trying to get that right hook in. He's got it in now.
Very, very bad position for GALLACCHIO, and he has the body triangle as well, and he has it on the right side as well. And GALLACCHIO just showing up and taking these punches. This very well could be the end. Andrew McINNS now going in for that rear naked choke. He let it go again, and boom, starts throwing some punches on him. Andrew McINNS getting Tom GALLACCHIO in a very, very bad position. I think more than anything, not only these punches hurt him, but Tom is getting very, very tired. Having that body triangle on as well while someone's throwing those punches and you're constantly having to move like that is really going to take a lot of your gas take away from you.
McINNS trying to get his arm underneath the chin of GALLACCHIO. GALLACCHIO doing a good job, 2 hands on the wrist of McINNS, making sure he doesn't give it that chin. Now the right hands come down from McINNS. McINNS now gets that left arm underneath the chin. This fight could be over.
Wow.
Oh, what?
GALLACCHIO showing some very immense fortitude to stay in there and take the punishment and slip that choke. Very impressed.
Yeah, GALLACCHIO not necessarily having an answer for this, but he's still willing to fight through it. But as you can tell, he is having a miserable, miserable time having to not only carry Andrew McINNS' weight, but again, that body triangle taking a lot of his wind out of him. And it looks like John Brack is already warning him he could be a couple punches away from stopping this fight again.
This fight is over. Andrew McINNS finishes Thomas GALLACCHIO. Andrew McINNS is a new Triumph Fighting Championship lightweight champion.
Unbelievable performance.
Wow.
And look at the respect shown between these two men. We've had 3, 4, 5 years of trash talking going back and forth, but this is the way you end a feud.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, again, like you said, I'm sure a lot of stuff was said back and forth, but at the end of the day, you have to respect somebody. Tom GALLACCHIO gave Andrew McINNS the hardest fight he's ever had and made him work really, really hard for that finish.
Dynamite performance put on by both fighters this evening, with Andrew McINNS putting in his time and waiting it out to get the punches, getting the stoppage from John Brack.
And Andrew McINNS collapsing down on the floor there. Both tired and probably feeling a little bit emotional right now. Wow, big moment for Andrew McINNS.
What a fight, Cody. I have not seen that type of performance come out of Andrew McINNS before. Respect to both fighters for putting on one hell of a main event here for Triumph Fighting Championship with, of course, Mr. Andrew McINNS winning the belt tonight. Much deserved.
Both guys showing the championship heart in that fight. And again, the fight was in the championship round when Andrew was finally able to take the back and get the finish. Like I said before, Tom GALLACCHIO made him work for that. That was one hell of a title fight.
Did he ever? Both fighters meeting in the center.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Off to Dean
referee John Brack stops this bout due to strikes at 4 minutes 48 seconds of the 4th round. The winner by technical knockout and the new Triumph FC lightweight champion, the submission artist formerly known as Andrew McINNS. Fight fans, I'm here with a very emotional, a very happy Andrew McINNS. Andrew, the first thing I want to say is this battle's been going on for a long time. However, you guys settled the score in here tonight, and I know the way this fight ended, you and Thomas GALLACCHIO embracing each other in the middle of the cage was a sight to see.
Yeah, when I got into the sport, before my first fight, my goal was an MFC belt. I didn't want anything else than MFC belt. And Tom got it. Tom was a great champion. Tom moved forward, did great on the reality show, real professional, and he just had something I want. It's absolutely nothing personal, but if I want something, I'm gonna fucking get it.
Okay, I'm gonna continue on with you in 1 second. Don't go anywhere. Thomas, come in here, Tom. I wanna get a couple words from you. Like I said, the way we talked about it, Andrew McINNS, there was some bad blood, possibly, definitely some words exchanged. The way you guys ended and embraced in the middle of the cage, that's what true mixed martial art is all about.
It's been a long 10 years. Congratulations to Andrew. It was a good fight. I'm glad we could slug it out. I had a lot of fun, and he caught me. There's nothing else to it. You know, I'm just glad he didn't catch me with my own move.
The one thing I want to say is this man right here, he's a class act. He's actually selling his anniversary or celebrating his anniversary in his cage tonight. 10 years ago this very night, back in 2006, he had his very first fight. Let's give it up for a hell of a man, Thomas GALLACCHIO. Andrew, get back over here. This is your night, bud. Cage side with Jay Kirsch and Cody Cron. What we were most impressed about is how the ground game almost canceled itself out. Seeing you two guys go toe-to-toe for the better part of 3 rounds was damn entertaining.
Yeah, well, he's a real black belt. What can I say? You know what I mean? I felt I was a step ahead. I was beating him on the bottom, but there wasn't a close finish. You know what I mean? That's just a testament to his ground skill. But hey, Chalapri's a fucking cheater. Check my Facebook. I'm gonna out him tonight. He greased up my first fight. That's 8-0 for me. Chalapri's a cheating fuck on the real deal.
One other thing I want to touch on, it's not too often that you go from one entertainment to the other, but the music world lost a very important man the other day, and I know tonight you wanted to come out and you said, Dean, I want to be known as the submission artist, formerly known as Andrew McINNS. What exactly does that mean to you?
I don't know. I'm a fucking weird guy that likes Prince too much than a straight guy should. He's the man. What can I say about that?
That's very entertaining. I know a great fight here tonight. You're the ultimate team player. You got a great team behind you. A lot of guys give it up for you. A lot of guys give you credit. Who does Andrew McINNS want to thank here tonight as he wears that Triumph Championship strap around his waist?
Guys, I'm from Toronto. I came out here 0-1 with that bullshit loss. It's because of these guys right here that I got back on the winning track. Nobody knows adversity I faced. I got a hernia in my first fight. I had my head blown off by a cheater. I blew up my ACL 2 days before my second fight, and I keep coming back. And you want to say I don't have fucking heart? How about that right there tonight?
That's what you got. You got heart. He is the new Triumph FC lightweight champion. He is the first ever Triumph FC champion. Let's give it up for Andrew McINNS.
Hey, when UFC comes to Rexall Place, I'm the first fight in that fucking card, I guarantee it. If it happens afterwards, I want a shot at the heavyweight strap.
There you go. The lightweight champion calling out the heavyweight champion. At this time, I want to bring into the cage Cody Cron and Jake Hirsch. Get up here, guys. It's been a great night. Triumph FC ends with a bang here in Edmonton, Alberta. Cody, we've had opportunities to call some great cards. What a way to finish off Triumph FC Inception.
Oh, what more could you ask for a main event? That was basically Rocky 3 in the flesh. That was amazing to watch. Both these guys, Andrew show so much heart. Take the back finally after a long, hard-fought battle and get that championship belt.
Jake Hirsch, awesome opportunity here tonight. We had an opportunity to call a great card. Andrew McINNS sends the fight fans home happy, but besides that, there's some great fights on this card.
Oh, you couldn't have asked for a better first start to Triumph Fighting Championship. I'm looking forward to many more fights ahead. Tonight's action was nonstop. Every fight tonight was something that I think all the fight fans wanted to see.
Definitely, the fight fans of Edmonton put on, again, a great show. I want to thank my partners, Jake Hirsch. I want to thank Cody Cron. I'm Dean Panis. Thank you very much. Thank you, Edmonton. Thank you, fight fans. And we'll see you for Triumph FC 2 in September.